I got a message to all you code pink liberals, you lefties in Cuba, thinking y'all doing something. Okay? This is not your fight. Stand the vow, because this is happening. This is happening, right? You people are a bunch of hypocrites. Okay? It's embarrassing. And this is coming from a Cuban American, okay? This is not your fight. For you to go over there on a humanitarian aid mission, okay? There are 11 million people on that island. You didn't bring enough supplies or essentials for 11 million people. And the items that you did bring to that island were already confiscated. That will never see the light of day. Okay? But yet you can sit up in that building, you know, the Congress building or whatever in Cuba, in that air-conditioned building, and applaud. And stand up and give this man a standing ovation, Diaz Canal. All right? Give him a standing ovation, which is ridiculous. All right? And then, you know, the thing with Cuba is, for you to go on that freedom flight or whatever it is, that mission that you're on, all that was pre-approved. The Cuban government decides what you film, where you film it at, and what is to be shown to you. Okay? I've watched videos of you people in your air-conditioned hotel, the only one with lights on, matter of fact, while the rest of the block is dark, while y'all have a hot shower and all that. None of you have went out in the real communities, right, and intermingled with the dissidents of Cuba. Okay? You're a bunch of hypocrites, and there's always a white liberal woman at the forefront of all this. This is why the civil rights movement never worked out, because the liberal women attach themselves to that movement also. If you know your history. Okay? There's always some woman who looks like she hasn't had a man in 20 years that wants to be the savior of everybody's problems. Right? For you to come over there and talk about the Cuban government, how our country is ran by a dictator, while you're talking to a dictator, a one-party system, one-party regime, okay, it's deplorable. You're an embarrassment. What the United Embassy should do right now, United States Embassy should do, is revoke your passports. Let you suffer on the island for about 6 months. No American dollars, no nothing, because you take that granted. That same freedom of speech that you have to go over there, the Cuban people do not have. That same building that you were in yesterday, all right, talking to the Cuban dictator, Cuban people cannot step into that building. They can't voice their opinions just like you can, okay? But you claim you're helping? You're helping do what? This is the 67 years in the making. This is happening. You're talking about a blockade and embargo. This has been going on since Kennedy, since the Bay of Pigs. This is how long this has been going on. Like Cuba was backed by the Soviet Union. This is how long that's been going on. A lot of you not even that old. But to sit there and talk about how our president is so bad, how he's got everyone over here oppressed. No, this is happening. This needs to happen. And your little flotilla, whatever it is, it's not going to stop anything. Mind your businesses, okay? All right, ask any Cuban have they ever seen of McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King or Arby's. The little stuff that we take for granted here every day on a daily basis. All right, how many of them can jump in their car and go to any major supermarket and buy whatever they want because there's an abundance on the shelves? Go out there with the real people. Listen to their voices. Listen to their stories. And then see if you have a change of heart. If you don't like the message, it's not the message. You hate the messenger. Right? It's the man who's fixing the problem that bothers you. You rather see some people keep suffering. Because why? So Donald Trump doesn't get the credit? This is not about Donald Trump. It's about somebody standing up finally. And standing up to a communist regime. Wow. A dictatorship. Like freeing, making the world free. But you don't want to see that. Because it's who's doing it. You liberals need to stand down, get them out of Cuba, man. I mean, I don't wish bad or nothing. I really hope you guys turn down the wrong neighborhood in Cuba. Right? And get stripped of all your worldly possessions. Because, you take all this for granted. Your little freedom of speech, for you to go to another country and talk about America, is crazy. It's embarrassing. You guys should stay right where you're at. Hang out with the people for about 6 months. You'll be begging to come back. You'll be begging to come back. And you'll come back and kiss the same soil that you trashed. Okay, despite who's in the office right now. Okay, you're the same party that can't find a woman. You can't tell what a real woman is, but you want to go over to tell the Cuban people, don't worry about it. Say, you can hang on a little longer. Okay? Socialism is good. Communism is good. Okay? You don't need free elections. Let them keep running it. Let the narco-terrorists, traffickers, keep running this country. It's okay for you. Because you want to be the saviors. You want to act like y'all did something. You did nothing. This is happening. Okay? That little flight of how many people on that plane? You can't silence the voices of 11 million people.
He was cooking, man. I was trying to find a good place to cut it. I couldn't. So I just like, I just got to let this man just get it all off his chest, man. He's absolutely right. And to be honest with you, just like, the way we started the show, I would say, hey, let's put together a GoFundMe. All the liberals, you want to move to some socialist nation, by all means, we will fund you. The only ask is you leave your passport here and, hey, give up your citizenship and go live in these nations if you think it's so great. He said 6 months. They wouldn't last a week or two over there under those conditions. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely not. I loved what he said. A lot of people don't know. Some people do, the ones that follow me. My father is Cuban, okay? And I'm telling you right now, absolutely not. You do not want to be those liberals. They came there with, with the Gucci boots on. They're on the, the private jets and all of this stuff. But most people don't know it is a luxury to have air conditioning in Cuba. Okay. Especially in populated area like Havana. They couldn't last an hour there. They like to be on TikTok. Well, guess what? You got to go sit in a town square just to get Wi-Fi for a couple of hours. Okay. And then when Americans come, they have some Airbnbs, that have a little bit of Wi-Fi, maybe I forget, a Fire Stick, that gives you a little bit of home, but it's absolutely not the same thing. You can't have all the amenities, these TVs and all of that. There are Cuban people that go and work in Miami, right? They go work in Miami. They bring this stuff back. I'm telling you, at the Cuban airport, they open everything. Electronics doesn't matter. They open everything to see what you're bringing in, what, how much it costs. If they want to confiscate it, they can. Like, it's absolutely insane. Just a restaurant, it takes over an hour just to eat. Because there's no McDonald's and all of this stuff. It's not pre-made. The chicken is outside and I just chopped it off and now I'm going to cook it. It'll be ready in an hour and a half. But I'm just telling people that if you've never been to Cuba, if you don't know anybody that's Cuban, if you don't have any Cuban friends down in Miami or Orlando or something like that, then I don't understand what you're talking about, especially these liberals. They use everything, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. It's absolutely insane because it never involves the actual people. It's all about politics. It's not about the people. And the people in Cuba, when I tell you they are ecstatic because they've been living under, if you want to call something a regime, they've been living under that since before I was born, my mother was born, all of this stuff. And you want to keep it that way for what? For the fear that Donald Trump may actually do something good for somebody, since he doesn't do anything good for Americans, something good. And it's always a political thing. Liberals, especially white liberals, never go down there or go anywhere for the actual people. It's always political. And I'm just at the point where I'm just tired of seeing white liberals, especially white liberal women, down anywhere, because it's nothing good ever coming from it, ever.
You're absolutely right. One of the dudes that was leading that thing, Hassan Piker, he had on like a $1,300 pair of glasses. And I'm like, do you understand that $1,300 would feed a family for a year in Cuba?
That the little bike boy.
What he had on his face, yes. What he had on his face. It is outrageous.
That's how you know that these people, they don't really understand what real oppression looks like. They don't understand what real poverty is. Like, we have a calculation and we're like, well, you are such and such below the poverty line. Okay, you're poor. If you're really poor, ain't nobody got to tell you that you're poor. Okay, it is very evident from everything around you. You poor is when you don't have food in your refrigerator. Poor is when you don't have $1,000 cell phone in your back pocket. Poor is when you can't afford Wi-Fi. Okay. Poor is when, you know, you got holes in your floor, you know, and it's a halfway built house. Okay. Like, these people don't really understand what poverty really is. Go to India, go to Cuba. You'll see real poverty. Americans, you know, it's kind of disgusting. It really just pisses me off, quite frankly, when you have all of these people up here. Oh, I'm so oppressed. Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And God has literally placed you in the land of milk and honey, and you're looking around and you don't see it. It's ungrateful. Wow. You're ungrateful. You have no business talking about you trying to protect the people by keeping a dictator over them. You low down dirty dog. Like, you have no business worrying about what is going on over here when you cannot properly ascertain your own privilege. And I don't mean, I'm not talking about privilege in skin color. I'm talking about privilege in being in a land like America. Amen. Born here. Amen. You can't even understand that is the blessing that comes with that. Miss me. I don't want to hear it. Please. Like, it is disrespectful. And you're gonna go there with $1,300 glasses on. There are neighborhoods in America that I wish you would go and walk around with there are neighborhoods in America that would snatch them glasses that do better than the Cubans.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to say that you're absolutely right about this American privilege. And what makes me sad, and as I sort of said in the previous conversation, is how deceived Americans are about America. And that deception is what is creating all of the angst and the tension between the divided Americans, because you've got Americans saying, wait a second, go look over there and look how much better you have it. And then you have these people saying, well, you know, this isn't good enough. This just isn't good enough. And I've said on the channel before, America only fails when you compare it to perfection. If you look at the history of any government ever formed, not recently, not ever formed by man, and that's all we have. All we have is men who came together and said, we're going to have to find a way to live together in public. So what is the best way to do it? And our founders looked through the history of the ages and saw all the faults of all of the other government or other way people organize themselves to behave in public, to regulate public behavior, and came up with a system that is far superior to anything ever created. And the reason is because it's the first time in the history of human beings, I'm talking about since people were able to be upright, the first time since Cro-Magnon man that people themselves were ruling themselves. That is the promise of America, was that the people could rule themselves. All through history, until the United States, people were ruled by potentates or kings or priests or somebody other than themselves. This is the first time in history that people said, no, we're not lowly, because we have a God, and that God has empowered us to rule ourselves. So yes, this is the greatest thing that has ever been created, and it is extremely sad when you see Americans who do not understand their superior position in the world. Go to India, go to Cuba, go to these other places, go to the grocery store, and there are two types of, if there is bread, there are two types of bread. There is no choice, because there are not 26 different factories and companies and people producing something trying to compete for your dollar, because there's no dollar there to compete for. Excellent point. If you want This is the play. The play, like I said in the beginning, the play is not to raise the standard of the Cuban people to live like Americans and have 26 brands of bread. No, the wet dream is to lower the standard of Americans so that we only have 2.
Find another country that has had one constitution that lasts for 250 years.
There isn't
Find
one.
another country.
There isn't one.
Not one.
Not one.
Well, it is absolutely a shame to see so many people be anti-American. See people like Hassan Piker that go to these places that simply don't make any sense at all. The only thing I could think of is that these people have to be getting paid by someone. It's so illogical to go against America and make it seem like we are such a terrible place while yet reaping all of the benefits. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It is highly frustrating. You have people that grow up in suburban neighborhoods in houses that are 5,000-6,000 square feet that grow up and say that they're oppressed and that they hate America. These are the people that fall for people like him, not realizing that you're in the top 1%, the top 0.1% of people in the world living in the land of opportunity. How could you ever be anti-American? And you have to think that there is somebody behind the scenes that is paying these people to push this agenda. And it has to be a crazy amount because they have to be, they're ruining any sort of opportunities that they may have in the future with any America branding. To go against your own country is insane. And how could you be against the president liberating Cuba? The liberals were against the president liberating Venezuela. They're against the president liberating Iran. The people of Iran, the people of Venezuela were happy. But liberals will go out and protest in the streets, not making any sense at all, making it seem like what President Trump did was bad. So, look, it doesn't make sense except for that these people are getting paid. It's hard to even believe that even the protesters would sit down and think, I'm going to go protest that millions of people have been liberated because I don't like it. No, that doesn't make any sense. Somebody is in these people's pockets, in my opinion.
No, you're absolutely right. What's happening around the world, and it's really a byproduct of focusing on our national security. The situation that went down in Venezuela, it really wasn't about the Venezuelan people being liberated. It was about not allowing China and Iran and other nations to have a foothold in the Western Hemisphere. That's what this is about. Cuba is in the situation that they were in because they decided that they were going to get in bed with Venezuela, which directly affects our national security. I got to keep telling people, man, freedom is not free. It costs. Wow. It costs for us to live the way that we live and to do the things that we do in our nation.
What our president is doing is trying to protect our nation. And only people who hate America don't appreciate that. It wasn't just to free them. That was a part of the deal. That was a fringe benefit. But the major cause is that he was trying to protect us. These nations are a threat to our security, and they're trying to do things to cause our demise. And he's the first president in a long time that has been doing things specifically to strengthen America against their opposers and their enemies. And I don't think the media wants them to know that. The left definitely doesn't want them to know that. And I think that we have to start shaming these liberals who make these dumb statements trying to defend their mad ideas against the right things that are being done for these other countries and for our nation. We have to step to them and shame them. I mean, force them to explain their stupidity and let them know that we're not going to take this sitting down. And again, I'm looking for the day when someone will call out these media on these people, and especially on media, and start challenging them to public dialogues. You know, I mean, it would be nice. You know, we trying to get Celeste on the View right now. If they got an office out here in New York, I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna start doing I'm gonna do myself a little rally. Y'all may have to pray for me. I'm gonna say, listen, we want to see Celeste on your show. You know, but when have you heard? Amen. I know you will. When have you seen our leaders step to these people and have a public news conference and say, listen, we are tired of so-and-so saying this and so-and-so saying that. We want to challenge you to a public discussion because you won't let us come on your program. So let's come. We won't have a public discussion. That kind of embarrassment will set the record straight on a lot of this mess.
So Code Pink started in 2002.
Mm.
It is a woman-led grassroots organization founded in 2002 to oppose U.S. wars and militarism, advocating allegedly for peace, social justice, and the redirection of tax dollars into community programs. I want you to understand that is just basically jargon for Jezebel spirits, okay? Because
Come on.
those are straight Jezebels that are
Oh,
leading
Jesse.
that entire organization. And so they did what they normally do. Them and their Jezebel spirit went down to Cuba to liberal splain. You know how they say black splaining, white splaining? No, they went to liberal
Liberal
splain
brain.
to the
I like that.
the Cubans that listen, y'all are the good ones. The ones over there in America are the bad ones. And
Wow.
whenever someone stops and says to me that they don't, that the liberals are standing up for God, I'm just going to remind y'all, Code Pink went down there to tell the people who are oppressed
Mm.
that they are the ones that are in the right. And the Lord says in Isaiah 10, 1 and 2, what sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. They deprive the poor of justice and deny the rights of the needy among my people. They prey on widows and take advantage of orphans. So when you look at them going down there and supporting everything that God is against, I don't want anyone ever to come in my comments and tell me how Democrats, liberals are Christ-like, while us standing up for what we standing up for is against God, because then that right there tells me that you don't know your word. And this is why you don't know, because you have not read. My people perish for lack of knowledge, and there's too many of y'all that are running around here with a lack of knowledge. You see in Proverbs 17 and 15, when you sit down and support people like that, it says acquitting the guilty and condemning the innocent, both are detestable to the Lord. So right now, when you support these people who go down and do these things, you are actually supporting those who are holding these people under the fist, under the thumb. They can't even get freedom. These people are crying out for freedom, and you support people who would rather keep them oppressed. Listen, I'm not, they have the freedom to do what they want to do, but remember, you will have to stand before God in judgment day and explain to him why you chose to support the people who want to keep his people oppressed. You're going to have to explain those things. And I want y'all to know, I celebrate the Code Pink going down there and do that. You want to know why? Code Pink, the DSA, because the DSA was down there. Ilhan Omar's daughter was down there. All of them that's down there. I support them going down there. You know why? Because the Iranian Americans are done with them. The Nigerian Americans are done with them. The Venezuelan Americans are done with them. And now the Cuban Americans are done with them. So I expect midterms to look very differently. No more do I expect any of y'all to go and support the same people who wanted to keep you oppressed. I hope all of you have locked that in your brain. And when people say that white liberal women aren't racist, I want y'all to explain that to me. Because when these white liberal women who know nothing about what these people are going through are going to go down and explain to them that how they're living is how they're supposed to live. That right there is racism to the highest level. You've never been through what I've been through. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know how I have to beg for a meal. You don't know how it is to, you sat in your 5-star hotel, drank as much as you wanted, ate 3 times a day, got your shower, got your air conditioning. Right outside was dark, but you didn't go out there. You stayed within your 5-star hotel with your entitlement and your privilege. And you want to tell me about me? No. That right there is true racism. When you can go to someone else and tell them about their experience, that's a problem. That is racism. And you know what? Let's just be honest. They're doing the history of their party, which is true and utter racism. When y'all want to understand what racism is, that is racism.
I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. Join us Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.